Howdy, kids. Me, Bob Harris, senior editor, FootballDiehards.com. Time for your Week 10 injury review, preview, update, overview. The thing we like to do every Saturday to kind of get you up to speed, set the table as you prepare to set your lineups heading into Sunday's action. Hope all your Thursday guys came through. Maybe not. Get your Bengals, Bears, Giants, and Texans out of your lineup. Those are the teams on buys. Cincinnati, Chicago, New York Giants, and Houston Texans should be out of your lineups. We got a lot of injury news to go through. As always, I'm recording this at about 2 p.m. Eastern Time. There will be news and information coming out shortly on players like Aaron Rodgers. We'll discuss this as we go through. I like to do them chronologically so you have an idea of what kind of fallback plans you need. But there will be some activations and things. And here's what you do. You go to FootballDiehards.com, check out the late-breaking updates section of news to see if anything has changed since I've recorded this. Also, go to the FSP staff rankings where you'll find like a one-stop shop with a list. And I link to each individual players. I have a link to all the latest information. If you look at your player and, wow, why is he at the bottom of the rankings? There'll be a link to an article explaining why he's at the bottom of the rankings and why you might not want to play him. So, that being the case, and also, Casey Joyner's Saturday injury update / set start is up and available. He goes a little more in depth. I'm sticking with the skilled players you'll be playing, but he looks a little bit at the defense and the offensive line and things that will be issues as well and make some recommendations there. Also, Brad Cruz's sit start for the Sunday games is up and running and available, and tons of DFS content. I'll talk about that again in a minute. So let's go through the games. There's a lot to go through, a lot of news going on. So Alvin Kamara has been ruled out this week against the Tennessee Titans with a knee injury. It's not supposed to be a long-term deal. Mark Ingram moves to the head of the line there in New Orleans. And, you know, the Tennessee Titans, tough run defense, but not impenetrable. And also Mark Ingram, a capable receiver. We saw a little bit of that last week. Trevor Simeon will continue to start. We may see more Taysom Hill this week in his gadget role, but Simeon starts. Julio Jones on the other side added the injury report is questionable. Opened the week, not on the injury report, not a full participant. Thursday was limited, Friday again. So that's something to watch there. A.J. Brown also limited at times during the week and held out a little bit, and still he's off the injury report. Same with Ryan Tannehill, had an illness. We'll see who if the running game can progress a little bit with Adrian Peterson, whose 10-year-old son watched the game last week against the Rams, said, "Dad, you're running too high." So hopefully Adrian makes some adjustments. Deontay Foreman in the mix as well as Jeremy McNichols, with Derrick Henry out for a significant portion of the rest of the season, if not the entirety of it. The Cleveland Browns have issues, COVID issues. Nick Chubb, Demetric Felton out with COVID. John Kelly, reserve running back, also out. And Kareem Hunt still on IR, won't be elevated. He was eligible to return this week, won't return this week. So Dearness Johnson, saw him in Week 7 have a fantastic showing against the Denver Broncos. So he will be the primary back. They have Brian Hill on the practice squad. Expect him to be elevated at some point. On the other side of the ball, they have issues in their backfield as well. Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, both listed as questionable, both in the concussion protocol. Neither practiced all week. That's not a good sign. Players have to go through a progression, right? They have to do more physical activity, then they get tested again. They did no physical activity. So we'll see if they get cleared or not. If not, Brandon Bolden and J.J. Taylor are the top two backs on the roster, and that's interesting. So Jonnu Smith also listed as questionable. He's been playing through a shoulder injury. Just a little note here. He was scheduled to talk to the media on Friday. They ended up pulling him out of that, and some of the local observers think that's something that happens when players aren't going to play. So something to watch. Not that you're forcing Jonnu Smith into your lineups, but there was some talk that he would maybe play a role in the backfield as a ball carrier if Harris and Stevenson can't go. So interesting there. N'Keal Harry also questionable with a knee injury. Nick Folk has been kicking through his knee injury, also questionable. So expect him to continue doing that and continue us to not care about N'Keal Harry until he does something significant. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. James Robinson listed as questionable. It sounds like he will play, worked on a limited basis Thursday and Friday. Looks like he'll return. Urban Meyer said Carlos Hyde will continue to chip in, though, or at least have a role. Probably not that 21-carry role we saw last week with Robinson. Now, Robinson's the best player on this offense, right? So if he's healthy and they can get him in there, they're going to get him in there. On the other side of the ball, T.Y. Hilton cleared out of the concussion protocol. He'll play as usual. Carson Wentz had a little illness. He's fine. Tampa Bay at Washington. This one's tricky. Chris Godwin listed as questionable with a foot injury. They will take that all the way up to kickoff. He did not practice. Got on the field a little bit on Friday, and that gave them hope. So they were going to see how it responded today. We haven't heard anything. Maybe we don't. Maybe he doesn't make the trip to Washington, and the decision's made for us. we'll be watching for that. You'll want to check, again, the late breaking update section or the FSP staff rankings for more on that. We do know Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski will be out this game. Brown with the ongoing ankle. It sounds like he has a bone spur issue as well as a sprain, so that's a problem. Gronkowski now is listed with a back. Yeah, back spasms are what knocked him out last week, so he's not quite ready. Might be a week or two until he is, according to Bruce Arians. On the other side of the ball, Antonio Gibson off the injury report. We saw that in Denver, everybody, and we saw how that worked out. Worked out well for Jarrett Patterson. Not so much for Gibson, but he will continue playing with that stress fracture in his shin. We'll see if that heals up at some point. De'Ami Brown listed as questionable with a knee injury. Looks like he'll be back. Curtis Samuel, no sign he's ready to return. In fact, he spent some time at the doctors this week instead of on the practice field. Logan Thomas seems unlikely to be elevated from IR. That's, again, something you'll want to check late Saturday. That happens about 2 hours after I record this, so check the late-breaking updates. We'll know if Thomas was elevated. But from what Ron Rivera said on Friday, didn't seem likely. Chase Claypool, Pittsburgh Steelers are at Detroit. Great matchup, or hosting Detroit. Great matchup. There will be no Chase Claypool. He's out with a toe injury. The reporting is he had an MRI. It will not be season-ending, but it will be this week-ending. So he's out for a great matchup. Eric Ebron returns. I don't know if that slows Pat Freiermuth's role. I think you're probably still playing him. It's a great matchup. Also a great matchup for Deontay Johnson, maybe James Washington as well, with the issues for Claypool. On the other side of the ball, no Jamal Williams. He's been ruled out with a thigh injury. And Austin Seibert has been ruled out with a right hip injury. They have Ryan Santosis on their practice squad. They'll probably elevate him Saturday. It's kicker, people. Find a different one. Detroit, not great. Unless it's DeAndre Swift or TJ Hawkinson. They're just fine. Play them. Buffalo at the New York Jets. Zach Moss was cleared out of the concussion protocol earlier today on Saturday, so barring a setback, he'll be in the lineup. Was hoping we'd see nothing but Devin Singletary or a lone back in a great matchup against running backs for the Jets, giving up tons of touchdowns, tons of PPR points to the running back position, so Moss will have an opportunity to cash in on that. On the other side of the ball, Zach Wilson out. Mike White will continue to start. Wilson listed as doubtful, but they won't play him this week. Joe Flacco will be the backup this week to Mike White. We'll see what he can do again and maybe make this whole thing a little more interesting going forward. Kevin Coleman listed as questionable. Seems like he'll return. Same with Corey Davis. Appears to be on track to return. So watch for them. They're both listed as questionable, hamstring and hip. Coleman's missed the last 4. I think Davis the last 2. So should be back for this one. He's eager to play with Mike White. And why wouldn't he be? Mike White throws touchdowns. Denzel Mims on the reserve COVID list. He will not play. Not a factor anyway. Atlanta at Dallas. Some lower level things. Lee Smith, the blocking tight end, is doubtful with a back injury. You probably weren't playing him anyway. And Greg Zuerlein, the kicker for Dallas, is on reserve COVID. So don't believe he'll come off in time to play. They signed Liram Hilajaju. I can't even say the name. Probably don't need to play that guy, but if you do, he'll be available in your commissioner platform. Sunday's late games. Aaron Rodgers is, as I speak, in the building in Green Bay. It seems to be passing all the things. The official notification will come about 4 p.m. Eastern time. So check back in the site and make sure it seems like a formality at this point that Aaron Rodgers will be back for this game after spending his 10 days out. He doesn't have to pass a test, a COVID test. The 10 days is up. So he's allowed back as long as he passes, doesn't have a fever, etc. And since he's back in the building, it's safe to say that's the case. Been working virtually, so expect him in the starting lineup. They've said he will be as long as he's cleared. Sounds like he's cleared. So Equanimeous St. Brown listed as questionable with an ankle injury. Seems likely to be available, but pretty far down the pecking order, right? On the other side of the ball, Russell Wilson will definitely be back. He's been activated from injured reserve and will start this game. Dwayne Eskridge also off the IR. Haven't seen him this year, but he'll be in the mix. Rookie receiver. Chris Carson will not be. He will not be activated from IR this week, but he is in the window and practicing, so we'll see how that goes. Not quite ready, though. For the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Carolina Panthers. A lot of issues going on here. Kyler Murray listed as questionable, a game-time decision. Did get on the practice field Friday. That's encouraging. Colt McCoy standing by if he can't play, and he played well against the 49ers last week. DeAndre Hopkins, no practice all week. That'll be one to watch as well. Also a game-time decision, late afternoon window, right? So that's why I do them in this order, so you understand what fallbacks you need. You need other players in this window or in Sunday night's window or in Monday's window to cover for their absence if they don't go. Ronald Moore, also questionable, neck and concussion issues. Seems unlikely to go, but we'll see. Chase Edmonds out. He's been placed on IR earlier today. James Conner will be the primary back. We know how that can work out. He's really great near the goal line, apparently. Also, don't think he can't catch the football. He can. Eno Benjamin will be in the mix as well with him, maybe playing more of the Edmonds role. For the Panthers, Sam Darnold's out. He's placed on IR. Will miss 4 to 6 weeks. Cam Newton was signed this week. He will not play this week, although he might be in uniform. We might see him, but P.J. Walker, the former XFL star, will be the starter for the Panthers. And his past as an NFL quarterback says he's about as mistake-prone as Sam Darnold. So maybe we'll see Cam sooner than we think if he's in uniform. Denver Broncos against Philadelphia Eagles. Albert Okwebunam listed as questionable with a knee injury. Tim Patrick the same. Both were able to return to the work late in the weekend on a limited basis. I suspect they'll both be available. I don't know that you need to force either in your lineup. But Patrick's been good, but Jerry Jeudy's become a dominant force at the position to the detriment of the other receiving assets there. Sunday night, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we will know shortly. It sounds like they weren't ready to activate him from IR. He has been practicing this week, supposedly has looked good. Andy Reid said on Friday that, might be another week. They don't see any need to rush him, right? So on the other side of the ball, everyone's good to go there for the Raiders of Las Vegas. Monday night, bad news came out today. Robert Woods suffered a torn ACL in Friday's practice. Injured during practice, got to finish practice. Went home, had some pain, got it checked. It's a torn ACL. It's season-ending, people. So, oddly, they signed Odell Beckham Friday afternoon before they knew any of this was going to happen. So he jumps in the mix along with look, this offense is still going to run through Cooper Kupp, but Van Jefferson raises his profile, raises Odell Beckham. They will play him this week. There seemed to be some question prior to his injury. There's no question now. They're playing him according to the latest reporting. Robert Woods has 70 targets to date this year. So some portion of those are going to go to other players, right? That ratio. Cooper Kupp's obviously more heavily targeted. Tyler Higbee's still in the mix, but there's some room here for, if you have Van Jefferson, go ahead. If you have Odell Beckham, there's a chance. San Francisco's secondary is really beat up. A lot of injury issues there, so it's a fortuitous matchup. On that side of the ball, for the offensive side of the ball, seems like they're mostly healthy. JaMychal Hasty has an ankle injury. We'll see. Elijah Mitchell still dealing with a rib injury. Injury report is not out for either team. Check for that on the site. I will have updates up on that. But if Elijah Mitchell, seems to have been playing through his rib issue, did last week. If he doesn't, Jeff Wilson is there. Right now, they view Mitchell as a starter, Wilson as a third down back. Mohamed Sanu has a knee injury. He will miss a significant portion of time, so probably an extended period. So Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, or I said that in the wrong order, didn't I? Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk are the top two weapons there. Those are the guys. Trent Sherfield will be in the mix. They have Travis Benjamin, other players, but don't know if you want to dig that deep. So there you have it. Good luck this week. Hit the website. Ongoing news, information right up through each kickoff window, giving you all the inactives as they happen in real time, as they come into our office. So as released, so it'll be real time. You can watch our DFS pregame show. If you're listening to this Saturday afternoon, watch John Lobb's The Line of Scrimmage Cash Game DFS video on our YouTube channel. There'll be a link to it on the site. Sunday morning, we'll have our pregame show with Jason Brady and Jamie Calandro. Great stuff there. And tons of content on the site. Casey Joyner will do a Sunday morning update to his injury report / sit start. Brad Cruz's sit start is up. I have tons of DFS content up right now, right? Jamie's DFS cash game plays, GPP tournaments, my DFS 3 and out, my tournament DFS 3 and out, John Lobb's The Scholar Sheet of DraftKings Knowledge, Justin Lanero digging in the crates, Gary Davenport's Shadow Report is up, Reginald James Commissioner stuff is up. Early every week, we have a ton of free agent and waiver wire content from Evan Tarciano, Joe Colana, Matthew Sharon. Check that out. Starts Monday, more on Tuesday. We kind of get you ready and set the table. Tons of tools and technology available as well on the website. So don't miss out on that, including DFS lineup optimizers, DFS ownership percentages, tons of stats, red zone stats, snap stats, target shares, all that kind of stuff you need to succeed. So get a piece of it, FootballDiehards.com. And listen to me, SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. If you're listening this Saturday, I'll be on the Fantasy Channel from 5 to 7 p.m. Mike Dempsey and myself taking your calls, answering your questions. Then we'll jump over to NFL Radio, Channel 88 on your dial from 8 to 11. Same drill, more questions. Andy Behrens from Yahoo will join us there. Sunday morning, Jeff Mans and I will do the pregame on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio from 11 to 1 p.m. There you have it, people. Good luck this week.